What if you could work anywhere in the world and be involved in any industry that you choose? Here's how. Hi, and welcome to the Law Simplified. I'm Shaveen Bandaranaike. The beauty of studying law is the fact that more often than not, you'll be hired by different professionals for different industries, primarily not because of your technical know-how or any specific knowledge that you might have in that industry, but predominantly because of the way you think and analyze circumstances. Lawyers and legal practitioners are able to analyze and strategize in a much more complicated manner than most other professionals in any industry. As a result, it does pay dividend to have a qualification as well as a career trajectory that enables you to be involved in not just the law, but a subordinate industry that you might be passionate about. Throughout the past 8 years of lecturing and mentoring students from all around the world, if I have gathered one very significant attribute among students from all over the place, is the fact that apart from their interest and perhaps even passion to pursue a career in law, there are other hidden talents, skills, and interests that relate to oftentimes completely polar opposite professions and industries. More often than not, on this very YouTube channel, as well as the other platforms that the Law Simplified is disseminated on, I've advocated the fact that bringing into your legal career and your legal profession your other interests and know-how does provide an opportunity to leverage yourself above and beyond other practitioners. So, how exactly do we go about doing this? Before I tell you what you need to do, it's important to understand what attributes and qualities that you should have in order to be able to have this passport to the world, so to speak. One is to have a ubiquitous career trajectory mapped out. And to do that, you need to have a ubiquitous qualification. Now, there are very few, I would argue a handful of qualifications and professional career paths that will enable you to be on the board or to helm certain companies regardless of your technical know-how. One of that, fortunately, is law. There are many lawyers, attorneys at law, barristers and solicitors all over the world that sit on the boards and management of companies that might be technical in nature, but their role is specifically strategy as well as the way in which they articulate arguments for the purposes of benefiting as well as moving forward their respective organizations. Now, in terms of finding the actual industry itself, that would depend on what interests you. But that's one part of the story. The other part of it is to make sure that you have a practicing license that allows you to function in different jurisdictions. What do I mean by this? Law is only one part of the equation. It's only the academic component. It doesn't allow you the benefit, or it doesn't afford you the benefit of being able to represent someone else, be it an individual or an organization in a jurisdiction. For instance, if you are in England and Wales, you might have to be a solicitor, a barrister, or someone with a practicing license in order to represent someone else in court. The same is true for many other jurisdictions. But this brings to the fact that you need to have a practicing license in order to represent. Just knowing the law would be insufficient. And to this end, what you might need to have, apart from your LLB or your law degree, is to become a solicitor. Now, who and what a solicitor does is a subject matter for a different video entirely. If you're interested in knowing the details of what a solicitor does, how do you get to that point from the perspective of academics and your vocational qualifications, do leave a comment below and I'll try to make a more in-depth series on it. But at this stage, the reason for this video is that you need to plan out whether you are going to get a practicing license in a jurisdiction that allows you the opportunity of widening your prospects and your horizon at that, in being able to be cross-jurisdictional, so to speak. The ability to practice in more than one jurisdiction is a lucrative advantage. What's more is that if you're good in your law, if you're good in your skill set of advocacy, for instance, this practicing license, specifically in England and Wales, gives you the opportunity to not immediately, but in a much more linear and more straightforward manner, convert that qualification and practicing license to other Commonwealth countries as well. This is through a process known as the SQE, or the Solicitor's Qualifying Examinations, which allows you to become a solicitor in England and Wales remotely for the most part, and then once you have that practicing license, you could convert that or supplement that with practicing licenses in other jurisdictions of your choosing. This ubiquitous aspect of the solicitorship, so to speak, of England and Wales makes it much easier for you to be able to be cross-jurisdictional, to have a passport to the world, so to speak. If you're interested in the comprehensive SQE Prep Masterclass, I'd highly recommend having a look at the course available on the online law school platform, which you can link to in the description below or through the pop-up that will appear, as well as the end card of this video. That being said, until the next time that we meet, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.